All right, so it is time for us to paint the color wheel. That will become our color wheel I. So you have all your sections, you have them all numbered. You need a paintbrush, watercolor paint. You'll have an extra tray like this to mix colors, and then you need your water tray like I have right here with water in it, or a cup of water if you're at home. All right, so I'm gonna start, we're gonna be painting our primary colors first. So the primary colors are the 3 colors that make all the other colors. You should know what they are already, but they are red, yellow, and blue. So I will start off in number 1, we're gonna paint red. In number 5, we're gonna paint yellow. And then in number 9, we're gonna paint blue. So I'm gonna get my brush wet first. And then I'm gonna start waking up that color red. So you should have a small brush. You don't need bristles too big. Get some good red paint on your brush. And then just start painting inside. That square. If it looks too light, that just means you need to wake it up a little bit more, stir it up a little bit. If it looks sticky or scratchy, that just means you need to add more water. So if it looks sticky or scratchy, that means your brush is thirsty. That means your paint is thirsty. If it's too light, that just means you need to wake it up more, stir it up a little bit more. And do your best to stay inside the lines. All right, so I said red in 1. We're gonna do yellow in 5. Let me get a little bit more color in this red. Yellow in 5, and then blue in 9. Now that I'm done with my red, I need to switch to yellow. I do need to wash off my brush. So I'm gonna move this over here because I just wanna show you all at least once where you can see. If you're with the people at your table, you can pick a side. One side maybe to be the dirty side, one side to be the clean side. I like to wash it off on one side, and then don't tap. I don't wanna see tapping because it's gonna make splatters. You wipe off the extra. Then after you do that, this clean side is where I'm gonna get water to add to my paint. So I have a dirty side and a clean side. All right, let me start waking up that yellow. So I'm getting some water on my brush, mixing it real good until I think I have a nice yellow. And then I'm gonna go over here to number 5 and paint that in the number 5. You don't want puddles on your paper. If you have that means you have too much water and too much paint on your brush. Puddles can make your paper tear. It can also make it do weird things that we don't want. All right, now I'm gonna wash my brush out on the dirty side again. Wipe the extra water out. Then get some clean water on there for my blue. So my blue, I'm gonna go over here in the corner. Mix it up really good. I should probably push up my bracelets and scrunchie and stuff so I don't get it in my paint accidentally. That would be bad. Okay, the number 9 for the blue. And I have a decent amount of water on there, so I am gonna mix it up or spread it around. If I wanna make it a little darker, I'm just gonna wake that blue up a little bit more by mixing my brush on the solid paint. All right, that is the first part of the video. Now I will wash out my brush because we're gonna fill in all the other colors. All right, for that, you're gonna need a another tray like this. This is gonna help us mix our colors. So I'm gonna slide these up here. So we're not going to be using the secondary colors that are in our paint palette, the ones that are already there, the green, orange, and purple. We're going to be mixing those. Now, in between the red and the yellow, you will have orange. In between the yellow and the blue, you're going to have green. In between the blue and the red, you'll have purple or violet. I'm going to start by bringing some red into here. So I'm going to get some water on my brush. So I'm going to start doing my red. Bring it over here because I will be mixing it. Now, I'm not trying to make orange yet. Orange is going to go here. I'm going to start working my way around. So I'm going to do this one. This is going to be a red-orange. So it's going to be more red than orange, or it's going to have more yellow in it than, more red in it than yellow. So once I have a decent amount of red right here, make sure I get enough. Then I'm going to wash my brush out, and it's time for me to get some yellow. So with a clean brush, make sure I wipe the edge off. I will go get that clean water on the clean side, start mixing it with my yellow. And I'm going to start adding just a little bit of yellow at first. We'll end up adding more. That looks pretty good. I'll just do a little mark. Let's start. Yeah, that's a pretty good red-orange, I do think. If you need to adjust your colors, if you didn't get enough yellow, just wash out your brush and go get more yellow. If you got too much yellow, we'll get more red in a minute. You can go ahead and move it to just the orange. If it looks more orange than red-orange, you can move on to orange. But I think this is a good red-orange. So mixing colors is all about balance. Now we said that the primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Secondary colors are orange, purple, and green, the ones that the primary colors makes. Now the ones in between a secondary color, which would be orange right here, and a primary color, which is gonna be red right here, is called a tertiary color, and that's this red-orange. Tertiary colors have it's like a two-color name: red-orange, yellow-blue, blue-green, and so on. Not yellow-blue, sorry, blue-green, yellow-green. All right, now let's do an orange. I'm gonna keep using the same one, the same little section right here. So I will add my red to it. Now yellow of the three primary colors, yellow is the weakest. So that means that you need to add usually more yellow if you're mixing a color. So say I want to do orange, which should be equal amounts yellow and red. Yellow is not as strong as red, so I am going to have to use more yellow than red. So I'm going to get some of that yellow, start mixing it up here. I think it looks pretty good. I think maybe I'll still grab a little bit more yellow. So let me wash off my brush, grab some clean water, and get some more yellow. And there we go, starting to get a nice orange. And I'm gonna paint that right here. Now each time you move to the next color, it should go up just like one step. So it's gonna look similar to the color before it, just a little bit. Just a little bit different because you're adding a different color to it. All right, that's a pretty good orange. I think I am gonna wash my brush out and just get this tiniest, maybe the tiniest bit of red on my brush, cross my fingers. Hopefully this, yeah, that was good. So it's just a experiment game, a balance game, getting these colors right. Okay, so I have red, orange. Now I need to make yellow orange. It's gonna go in this number 4. So I'm not gonna actually add any red at all to this same circle that I've been using. I'm just going to add some yellow and use that leftover orange, what's left in there, as the orange for my yellow orange. that's looking pretty good. Might do 2 layers. Sometimes, especially when we use watercolor paint, there's different ways you can get different shades, or sorry, different values of color. One way is to add more, if you add more of the pigment or more of the paint, it's gonna make it darker. Another way is to layer it. So sometimes layering is a good option. All right, so now I'm done with this section. I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna keep moving on. Now that I'm moving on past my next primary color, I will use a different section in here. So let me slide this up. All right, now I'm yellow and blue, so we know when we mix those together, they're gonna make green. So I need to make a yellow green right here. So I'm gonna wash my brush out, and I'll start getting some yellow. But this time I'm gonna be putting it in a different spot. So a new clean section, because I will be adding blue to it. I don't want any leftover red to get over in this section. So I'm gonna start by adding some yellow. You're gonna need, now blue is a very, very, very strong color. So I know we talked about how red was stronger than yellow, blue even more so. So you gotta be very light with that blue. So be very gentle with that blue. Okay, so now that I have this much yellow added, I think that'll be enough at least to start off with. I need to get some blue, so I need to wash my brush, wipe it on the edge, and then I'll get just a touch of blue. And this should make not really green yet, so I got the smallest amount of blue I could. This should be kind of a yellowy green, and I think that it is. Notice how I got just the smallest amount of blue, and even that small amount of blue changed that yellow so much. All right. So now we're doing our secondary color, green. I'll wash my brush and just add a little bit more blue. Remember, just the tiniest dot. I'm just gonna be so gentle with that. To here. And this should start making a green. I don't want it to be a blue-green yet. It should be a green-green. I'll start painting it on here and try to decide if I think that's enough or might need to add more blue to it. I'm not quite sure yet. I think maybe just a little bit more blue might help. Might be right. So this is risky. I will grab a little bit more, get it on my brush, and start adding it into here, painting around the edges and trying to smooth out that color as best as I can. All right, so we have yellow, yellow, green, green. Now we need a blue green. Let me clean my brush out on the dirty side, and I'm just gonna be adding some blue again to here. So I'll get some on my brush. I think I need a little bit more to make a blue-green. These colors are pretty light. I might need to go back and add another layer. Might need to also add some more blue. That looks almost like a regular green. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna adjust. So like this is almost like a balancing act. You might have to go back to another color like I'm doing right now. So I added some of this color I just mixed to this green to make it maybe a little bit more green. Then I'm gonna add some more blue to my blue-green because you want it to be an even in between those primary colors. That wasn't quite enough, so I need to get some yellow in here. Wipe off the extra paint. Wash my brush and get some blue. All right, then we have our blue. Now it's gonna be in between blue and red, so that's gonna make a violet or purple. So I'll start off with my blue. In a new section, because we're working on a new primary color, 2 different primary colors. All right, so now that I have a decent amount of blue in here, I'm gonna mix some right here into that blue-green because I probably am gonna go back and add some more blue to that blue-green. All right, so blue is here. Now I need to add my red. So I will wash off my brush. And then I'm just gonna grab, starting off, just a little bit of red because I'm trying to make a blue violet. So I added just a little bit. Now, if you're not sure, you can test it in the middle. This outside section is gonna end up being cut out, so you can use all that. So I think that still looks pretty blue. I think I need a little bit more red. So I need to wash my brush. And then get a little bit more red this time. I think that will be good. Looks a little bit better. Maybe get just a tiny bit more red. And start painting that blue violet. I might have gone too much red because that's looking a little violet to me, or a little just straight purple. That's okay. So I know if I do that, all I have to do is just go back and add a little more blue. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. This might actually end up being right. You might find that some colors combinations are trickier than others for you. But there's my blue violet. Then I'm gonna wash my brush. Now I need to make just regular violet, so I'll add a little bit more red to here and paint that here. And I'm running out. It's okay, I can always mix more. But I think that's a good violet. Then our last color, we're gonna make a red violet. So I'll wash off my brush. Now, if you can see here, I've used pretty much all of that I've already made. So I do need to add, I'm gonna add just a little bit of blue. Get it off my brush. Then I'll wash my brush and add a decent amount of red. I might have to do that in steps, so I just added some. It doesn't look red enough, I can tell by looking at it. So we'll wash my brush out and add some more. It's close, it's very close. I'm just gonna add a little bit more though. Ooh, yeah. There we go. You can wipe it on the edge and watch that paint fall out. And then we have a nice red violet. So we painted our primary, our secondary, and our tertiary colors in here. And these are going to be the iris of our eye. Now that I'm done, I'm going to go back and maybe adjust, maybe add a little bit more blue to here. But other than that, I think it's pretty good. So use your best judgment. You can go back and adjust your colors as needed.